What's going on, Packers Nation? Welcome back to another video of Packers Latest. I am your host, Taylor Bretl, keeping you up to date on the latest news on the green and gold Green Bay Packers. A happy Sunday to all of you watching out there, and a huge shout out to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. If you're new to the channel, I welcome you. Feel free to subscribe, leave a like, turn on that notification bell so you know when these videos go live, and if you're a returner, I welcome you back as always. Got a pretty busy show ahead of us today, especially with the big news that Matt LaFleur is staying with the Green Bay Packers. So let's just jump right into that point. Again, Matt LaFleur signing an extension with the Packers to stay with them for the future. Definitely lots of swirl, lots of mixed emotions on this. I've been reading some of the comments on the videos right after the playoff loss. Your thoughts on should LaFleur stay? Lots of them were trending towards no. Some people defending him, saying, who are you going to get out there that's better? So I know that there's a lot of swirl, a lot of mix-up, a lot of mixed feelings, but it seems pretty locked in now after this multi-year extension that LaFleur is here for the foreseeable future. My personal opinion on this, I've been a LaFleur defender for a very long time, but man, after that Bears loss, I mean, another playoff disaster, you can call it. That's honestly the prettiest word that I could give that 18-point lead that was blown. The prettiest word that I could attain to that game is a disaster. After another one of those, I definitely question, should LaFleur still be the guy? But I look at that coaching cycle, I look at the options out there, and honestly, I like LaFleur better than all of those guys. I know you got a big name like Harbaugh, but man, he's going to demand like the most money an NFL coach has ever got to do, in my personal opinion, similar to what Matt LaFleur could do. Harbaugh obviously has had tons of success earlier in his career, but you know, with the Ravens in that back end with Lamar, he's just like 3-6 in the playoffs. Sounds like similar numbers to LaFleur and what he's been with Rodgers and Love with the Packers. So again, I like that they stuck with Matt LaFleur at least for this season to play out that last remaining year of the contract. An extension on top of that, definitely some question marks there, but it kind of seemed like with LaFleur, they had to extend him now. They weren't going to let him get to the end of the contract to where he could then be looking at other teams. Because it seemed like if the Packers let him do that, LaFleur was going to be gone. So they agree on the extension. He's back as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. So very curious to hear your guys' thoughts on it. I'm all right with it. I mean, it's tough. I think the big thing out of this is the Packers need to find a true offensive coordinator. I don't think LaFleur can really do both now. I think he truly has to just be the head coach. If he does this kind of double job thing again, you know, lots in the play calling and that, I think it's going to be kind of messy again. You see it a lot with LaFleur. He has some pretty bad timeouts called in that because he's not fully focused in on the game because he's trying to draw up plays. Look at that. He's looking at his tablet. Sometimes his back is turned to the field because he's doing kind of multiple things at once. If LaFleur has a lighter role as a head coach, which I know is an interesting way to put it, I think this could be a good decision for the foreseeable future. Don't get me wrong. Matt LaFleur's been with the Packers 7 seasons. He's made the playoffs 6 of those times, but the last 3 seasons, all in that Jordan Love era, a 7 seed all 3 times, getting a win in his first game with Jordan Love in the playoffs, but the last 3 have all resulted in losses, so trending in the wrong direction. He hasn't even reached a Super Bowl as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers in NFC Championships, which they reached in 2019 and 2020. He is 0-2. So again, still lots to prove for LaFleur, but he can get the Packers to win. He can get them to the playoffs, but getting them to that next step, that is definitely what we are looking for out of this contract extension. But he's not the only guy that could be getting an extension. I mean, LaFleur's is confirmed, but there's a guy that is expected to get one because LaFleur got one, and that is the GM of the Green Bay Packers, expected to get an extension as well. Gutekunst has been the GM with the Packers since 2018, so, you know, joining at a similar time that LaFleur has. Gutekunst has been involved with the Packers since 1999, but as GM since 2018. So been there around similar time LaFleur in a high-level role. And again, in my opinion, I like that he's possibly getting extended as well. I don't know if there's too many mixed feelings on this. I know a lot of people have question marks about his draft strategy and things like that. Not the strongest first-round drafter, to say the least. Only a couple names really stick out in the past couple of years. But you look at the later picks, getting guys like Evan Williams, Kingsley Enagbare, Carl Brooks, very, very good at kind of getting those snipes in the draft. So would like the top heavy to be a little bit better because that's where the best talent sits. But I still feel like his drafts overall have been pretty solid. The one exception, I will say, this year's draft it hasn't really turned out to be anything so great. That's not to knock on the players, but when you look at the drafts in the past, this season really did not turn out to be that strong. But again, all these guys are rookies. We could look back at it in 2 years and say something completely different. But I do like the idea of him being extended as well if LaFleur is being if LaFleur confirmed got his extension, I like extending a GM as well. Kind of put them on the same path together. They've been through similar things. Goot has been with the Packers since 1999, obviously in different roles. LaFleur now entering his 8th season. So these guys have been here a while. They've established their name. Kind of go down that same path together. You either lose both or you keep both. Packers clearly on that keep both roll. But before we get into the next point, got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor of Underdog Fantasy. Football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the gridiron action. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get them right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week on Underdog, I've been looking at this game between the Chicago Bears and the Los Angeles Rams. I'm picking Caleb Williams higher than his passing yard total, which has dropped a little bit in the past couple of days because, man, that weather is looking brutal in Chicago. Caleb Williams still, I got him higher than what is listed now at time of recording at 217.5 passing yards. Even though the weather's brutal, we saw Williams fling it all across that Green Bay defense for 300 and plus yards. This sitting at 217.5. I feel like it's a game where he still could let the ball fly. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code FOOTBALLFAN to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code FOOTBALLFAN. Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus. 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska. 19 plus in Colorado for some games. 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia. And present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/play and get terms DFSTML for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 helpline at 1-878 or text PMI 467-369.
I welcome you back to Packers Latest. Now turning it over to the defensive side of the ball, talking about Jeff Hafley and how he's emerging as a head coach candidate with a couple teams, but it seems very strong, tied towards the Miami Dolphins. Got a couple of notes on this here. Again, Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers for the past 2 seasons. He is one of the hottest names on the market for a possible head coaching job. He's received interview requests from multiple teams. He's completed some of these interviews. The Dolphins, he's definitely, way more in the interview process compared to others. But the total list of teams that he's gotten requests from, as well as completed some of these, include the Miami Dolphins, as well as the Pittsburgh Steelers, Tennessee Titans, Atlanta Falcons, Arizona Cardinals, and Las Vegas Raiders. So it's not just Miami looking at him, it is a lot of teams. And even the Giants were such a top rumor for Hafley as well, but they scooped up Harbaugh pretty early, in that coaching cycle. It got him a couple days ago. So that team is off the board for Hafley, but it doesn't seem like he's going to have a problem finding a destination away from Green Bay. Again, Hafley, a very strong defensive coordinator for the Packers that his last quarter as a Packers defensive coordinator will be one to forget, giving up 25 points in that to lose the game to the Bears. But Hafley still very strong with what he had. I mean, tons of injuries that this Packers defense faced, and he still found ways to make it work. Again, when he needed it to work most, unfortunately, it did not come through in that way. But having Hafley was a huge upgrade. You could just tell after Joe Barry. I mean, you could just tell how this defense upgraded when you got Hafley in the building. So Hafley's gotten his respect, came over, head coach from Boston College, taking that defensive coordinator role in the NFL. Now it's looking like he's going to get that head coach level in the NFL. Again, the Miami Dolphins are the top leading team. This is per an article from Yahoo Sports saying Hafley has emerged as the leading candidate for the Miami Dolphins' head coaching job, according to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, who reported Saturday that he was told the former Boston College head coach, in quotes, blew everyone away in his initial virtual interview with the Dolphins, end quote. This makes him a front runner for that job. So yeah, getting the words blew everyone away towards you when you're talking about how your interview went, doesn't matter if that's for a job or like what it is. If it's an interview and those words are going towards you, no matter the scenario, that's definitely positive news for you. So nice to see for Hafley. It'll be unfortunate if he does leave the Green Bay Packers and does not return as their defensive coordinator, but really neat to see that he can get these opportunities at that head coaching level. I mean, he has some connections, the Dolphins as well. New Dolphins GM, John Eric Sullivan, longtime Packer executive, he's now there. So that's kind of a connection that Hafley could have. And there's one more that I think maybe could a rumor be, could this guy follow Hafley if Hafley goes to Miami? In the name of Malik Willis. I mean, is Miami a destination for Malik Willis? Don't get me wrong. Hafley, defensive coordinator, defensive side of the ball. Malik Willis, quarterback, offensive side of the ball. Very aware of that, but two guys that are on the same staff with the Green Bay Packers. Two guys looking for new destinations. I mean, Malik Willis, definitely a rumor to possibly be a starter with some teams around the NFL. I know some lower tier teams, a lot of those names pop out first, But the Dolphins, a team that, has Tua Tagovailoa, who's getting injury after injury after injury, and the interception numbers are growing, and he is getting that very sizable, I believe, $55 million a year contract. And it seems like the Dolphins are kind of just ready to move on from that. I wouldn't be shocked if they take a flyer on someone like Malik Willis, maybe give him a 2-year contract, just try it out. Don't know what that full value will be, maybe near $40 million. Again, if you bring in Hafley, try to find someone else from the Packers organization. They clearly, developed Willis pretty well. Titans drafted him, didn't do great there. Packers got him for a 7th round pick. And now Willis is looking like he can be a starter on a team like he was expected to out of college. So I think the Dolphins is an interesting destination. Obviously, it's just a rumor. Not trying to start any rumors, but I feel like that's been a name kind of thrown around there. Definitely tough with having Tua there, paying him all that money to be the guy, and you possibly bring someone in to fill his shoes. But if Willis goes there, that'd be good for him as well. I think that the Packers can count out not having Willis back because he could get most likely a shorter term 2-3-year contract, but at a closer to a starter salary than a backup salary. I know a lot of you guys in the comments, after seeing Willis, especially against Baltimore, you kind of wanted him for the future and you wanted Love gone. Maybe after that playoff game, you're kind of changing your mind a little bit. Seems like Love's the guy. Doesn't seem like Packers have any way that they're going to lean towards Willis. Seems like he's good as gone, which is very unfortunate to say because, man, was he fun to watch play. But it seems like he can get some starting level salary with another team. And I think the Dolphins could be definitely an interesting destination, especially if Jeff Hafley lands there as their head coach. But that's all I got for this episode of Packers Latest. I appreciate you all tuning in as always, and a huge shout out to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. But as always, go Pack Go.